Winter finally came to our part of Sweden as well. So this would be a great time to go out into the woods for some log hewing. I hope to get around to that. Shooting some axe work. But before that I have some old footage that I want to finish. There's been some development on the workshop the last year or so. I didn't shoot all of it, but I shot when I made these workshop doors that I think turned out rather nice. But I never got around to editing those shots. So before I go out in the woods with my axes, I will take you through this project when I made the doors. So I hope you will enjoy it. Let's go back in time for a year or so. Hello, and welcome back to my channel again. I've done a bit since the last time I filmed anything. The sliding doors are finished, for one thing, insulated, and I'm working on a couple of other doors. I'll take you inside the workshop so you can have a closer look at it. Right, we're inside. This is the door for the dust collector. Pretty fun. It's a door mechanism made totally out of wood, insulated as well. These are the old original doors from when this was a garage, and I decided it was no use trying to windproof and insulate them as they were, and they're pretty beaten up and they don't hang straight, so I will make new ones, and I will probably reclaim the hinges from them. That's about it. The rest of them I will probably cut up for firewood, and that's what I'm working on now. I have it on the floor here, I'll show you. So this will be the new double doors. I made half-lap joints in the corners, glued and screwed them together, and before that I jointed them and planed them to 40mm thickness, because I have made the mistake before putting a simple door together with ordinary construction lumber, and it never turns out straight. When I did it last time, it wasn't so important that it came out straight, but this time I want it to be a little bit nicer. Here you can see the half-lap joint, I believe. Yeah, just like that. Pretty simple. More simple than I would usually do on a door, but since I will insulate this and put cladding on both sides, I think it's okay. I have done doors this way before and they turned out just fine. Old windows. I did take some measurements. Well, actually I didn't write down the measurements, but this is to scale, so I can just measure how far up I want the cross beam. Pretty high up, so I will take that measurement again and check it where the doors will sit. If it still seems alright, I will put them in the corresponding height. 120, that's here. I will get the window here. I think that will be okay. I'll go with 1.20 m as planned. Looks alright. And now I'll just mark 120 centimeters, or actually, of course, I'm doing it in millimeters. So 1,200, of course, but I don't think in those terms, even though I measure to it. I mark both doors at the same time, obviously. So one goes there, one goes here. I like this Halflap pencil because it has a built-in sharpener here. My old one had a sharpener in the bottom, which was unnecessarily stupid, I think. So I switched to Halflap, which is a Swedish brand. Halflap, try to pronounce that if you're not Swedish. Sharp tip. Mark it on both sides. Using my combination square as a depth gauge, so I can use that when I mark how deep I will do the cutout. If you want to be more precise than this, you should use a marking knife instead of a pencil, but this is totally sufficient for this type of work. Gives you a good start to drop your saw into. I'm paying attention to the line on the side, so I'm making a totally plumb cut. Nothing you can't handle with a piece of timber and a mallet later if it's tight, but it's all a matter of if you want to end up with something sort of decent or something sort of shit. And now, for easier and safer removal of this, so I don't split out beyond the desired depth, I will just make a few cuts like this, perhaps, and then I can chop it out with chisel. I'll make a few of those cuts, and I'll see you again when I start chiseling. I won't go all the way down to the line first, just above it, to maintain some sort of control there, don't take out too much. I'll go get my scrap wood bin before I continue. When it's full, I just bring it inside and put it all into the stove. So it doesn't go to waste, all of it. You generate a whole lot of wood waste when you work with these things. So it's a good thing to try to use it all as much as possible and not just creating waste.
As I can see the cut marks from the saw, I know I'm not gone too deep. I will leave a little bit of it. And just finish it with the router planer. Time for the router planer. For wide cuts like this, you can actually use these pre-drilled screw holes and mount a bigger base to it. You see that quite often. I've seen Paul Sellers do it like that. I haven't done it yet on this one, but it's wide enough to span the width of the cut anyway, so you can use it as it is. When one of the sides of the base does not contact the reference surface, you have to press down hard on the side that does. That allows you to maintain constant depth in your cut. Then again, this is rough work, so I don't have to be that careful. I actually have this rather nice book from Lost Art Press. It's called Door Making and Window Making. It's actually 2 books in one. And yeah, in here it clearly says that the English word for these cross pieces are rails. The upright edge timbers are stiles, and those that lay horizontally are rails. Yeah. Thank Christopher Schwartz and Lost Art Press for that. Time to do a dry fit. Making sure it's the right piece. I marked it with an A here. I have an A here, so it is the right piece. Just drop it down. Yeah, it's totally fine. Nice and level as well. I can check the angles, of course. I think they are good. It's not super critical. Important thing is that the outside corners are straight, which I checked when I glued them up yesterday. This is also good. No problem whatsoever. Great. Time to glue and screw. plane the edges of the door. I made a modification to my table here to be able to fix unwieldy stuff to it. I've done it in a temporary way before, but now I just added a piece of 45mm stock here to get to the same level as the rails. If it's called rails on the table, I don't know. But the edges then, or skirting boards. So I made a series of holes after I added these pieces. I just cut some round stock that fit not too tightly into the holes, so I can put it in different heights depending on how big a piece I need to fit here. And when I don't use it, so I don't run into it, I'll store it here. Yeah, I'm gonna try this system now, see if I made something useful or if I just made something totally unnecessary. Totally worth the 10 minutes it took me to make the modification. There actually wasn't that much to take off on this edge. Should have built a bigger shop. It's funny, I took out a pretty big plane, number 6, and the only thing I do is planing off the end grain of these Halflap joints, which are like 95mm wide. An ordinary number 3 or number 4 would have done the job just fine. First one anyway. I think the big plane will come more into its element on this one. On this piece it's the other way around. The overlapping end grain pieces, they sit a millimeter or two below the surface of the style. So to make that nice, I have to plane down the whole style all the way, like a millimeter or two. And then it makes more sense to have this big plane. Runway bit holder. Just down to level with the end grain now, so I have to go from this side, otherwise I will get tear out here. Not quite. That's better. flush on all 3 spots. Not sure how to get to this top and bottom edge. If I'm gonna be bothered with it at all. I don't really have to do anything to it here. But I could go like this. Just a little bit. Probably with a slightly smaller plane though, right? Yes, I suppose. Just got myself a 4.5. Very happy with that. Slightly bigger than a 4. You can see the difference here. It's just nice to have some options. 4.5 is a little bit heavier, but a wider base is nice for panels and stuff. You don't really need it for edges like this. I could just as well use my regular number 4 here. Yeah. But I'm gonna use my 4.5 anyway because it's new. Not new as newly made, obviously it's an old Stanley, but it's new to me. Well, the system worked. I will probably continue on these upper pieces of the post as well, but right now I only needed it down here, so that's what I did. But I will get back to it and put some 45mm stock up here as well, so I can continue with the holes. Then it will be really useful. This is the reason why your workbench should always be flush on the face where you are working from. And if it's not, then you should modify it so it is. Okay, I've laid both doors down on the floor, which is pretty obvious. I didn't really have to say that, did I? Anyway, I put them here because it's time to put the diagonal braces in, like that, and like that. Not sure if I need to joint them, I can just plane them, I guess, but out of good principle I'll joint them anyway. Every time. use the cross brace as a straight edge to mark a line from both corners. I'm gonna mark the center of this on both ends. This mark exactly in the corner. Now I can just mark this on the underside. Hopefully this will be visible. I need to get it up from the floor. Now it's just a matter of getting under here. And now I can actually see what I'm doing. Now it's just a matter of cutting these. And to ensure tight fit, I'm gonna cut outside of the lines. Yeah, that could be a bit tighter. I have to drive in a few wedges or shins here. I'll be a bit more generous with the cut on the other one instead. This should be a bit tight. I cut well outside of the lines this time. And it is. Yeah, looks like it. So that's a better way to do it than the first one. I thought I had enough margins on that one, but of course measure twice and cut once. These fittings are no longer necessary. That's what clamps are for, isn't it? Okay. There are also hinges here, all covered in old paint. It's great to have a saw table on wheels, but not if you're working with a lot of side forces and you forget to drop it down on its feet before you do it. I know those casters for this table was a really good idea. It is really nice being able to move all your stuff around when you have a small workshop like the one I have. Okay, let's see if it comes off easily or if it's putting up a fight. It's putting a bit of a fight. Not too bad. This doesn't really matter. Stop and think a little bit before I pressed on with this, and of course I have to make a frame for the window, since the window will not sit flush with the frame of the door. It will sit flush with the cladding on the outside, and if I use the same type of planks that I will clad the door with, they are 22 millimeters thick, and make a frame of those, and the measurement from the top rail to the middle rail will be exactly the height of the window, so I don't have to fill out any gap over the window, between the window and the top rail as I first thought. It will just be a small piece here on the side, next to the stile where the hinges will be mounted. The framing timber in the middle here, 40 millimeters, 22 millimeter cladding on the inside, 22 on the outside, and a 22 board here that forms this frame. So flush with the cladding on the inside, but on the outside it will go out a little bit and have a bevel so the rainwater can run off, and the same on the top one. I have cut 2 pieces in the suitable length to put here, and I decided that I will not make the window frame in 22 millimeter boards, because I have to plane them as well. So I will just look at the gap I have here, account for some marginal for the rubber gasket, and then divide it by 2, and the suitable thickness for the boards for the frame is 18 millimeters. I have 44 millimeters altogether here, so I will measure from this end of the window and out to 44 here as well. And the remaining width here is 66 millimeters apparently. Yes, it is And this piece is, it was supposed to be 70, but it has dried a little bit, so it's actually 69. I'll just run them through the table, so they are 66 mil. For window frames. These are a bit longer. They are the horizontal pieces, and they will also have a bevel. These pieces go in before the window frames are mounted. Nail a few pieces on to the inside of the door. And these are the same thickness as the cladding. Put this with these facing down on the workbench. And I can just drop the boards for the window frame, so they when I meet the workbench they will be flush with these distance pieces, and that will be flush with the cladding when I finish that. So that's the plan. I think it will work. Alright, that's number 2 done. And now, finally, I can do this. That's it for today. It's been a very long day. Fortunately, I haven't made any fatal mistakes. So I'll put the wind membrane on the other door as well, and then I'll finish for today.